right, welcome everybody to another edition of Focus TV. We're joined by Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. Welcome to season 6, episode 29 of the Focus. All right, Octavia and Ray. We're on the other side of All Star break in one sport, literally the All Star break in another sport. Training camp's a week away, which means rapid fire is kind of filled with some fun things. Again, filling in for Cardell in that standpoint of rapid fire, but thankfully, the good people in sports made sure it was easy to choose 5 to 7 topics because people just keep saying very, very interesting things for no good reason at all. That said, Ray, we're going to start with you. We're officially on the other side of the All Star break coming up. Like, games are literally happening tonight to start the second half of the WNBA season. From the Mystic standpoint, what you have for us?
Um, yeah, the Mystics literally limped into the All-Star break. They're having a ton of health issues right now. The latest casualty was Ariel Atkins. She suffered an ankle sprain in the last game against Seattle. Thankfully they were still able to get the win. But yeah, man, they Mystics need some some healing hands right now. They're down Elena, Shakira, who's still dealing with hip strain, and now Ariel. She'll be out for at least 2 weeks. So, these next couple of weeks are going to be tough. Hopefully Elena and Shakira will be back within that time. But you know, for the time being, they're going to have to tread water, man, and try to keep this thing from free falling. Uh, Fortunately, Brittany Sykes, she's been playing really well. They got Lee Mung back from her short overseas venture, and I'm sure they'll be doing some hardship signings. But yeah, man, they're depleted at the moment. But they got vets on that team. They should be able to remain competitive. But yeah, this is not a good time to have all these injuries. Like Wilson said, they're on the other side of the All Star break now. They're getting into the teeth of their schedule. They got some tough games coming up. They play Indiana at home tomorrow for that's the annual camp day. So hopefully the kids will give them some energy, so they can get that one out. They played 2 tough games against the Fever already this year, so it's never just a easy win. So yeah, man, they're going to have to buckle down and really execute on both ends of the floor. We've seen them kind of go through, seen the pendulum swing on both ends this year so far. When the season started off, it was their offense that was sputtering. Then when the offense kind of gets going, their defense lacks a little bit, and that does have something to do with the injuries. Especially with Shakira and Elena being out, that does damage their presence on the interior on both sides of the ball. So yeah, man, they just gotta grit their teeth, bite down, and get to work. And then they're in fourth place right now. If they can just kind of hold firm and not fall too much, then when they get hold again, they'll be able to make a run. But for the time being, yeah, they're just gonna have to dig deep, man. It is what it is. Injuries suck, but it's part of the game, and you got to deal with circumstances they present to you. So, hopefully that's the attitude they have going into it. Yeah, and they just lace their shoes up and get to work.
Yeah, like you mentioned, you want to talk about a nice way to ease into it. Even if fully healthy, this was going to be just a difficult week, right? You got Indiana, which you know what you got to deal inside with tomorrow morning, as you said at the time of recording this. It's Tuesday tomorrow morning. Be dealing with a very, I'm sure, very confident Aaliyah Boston and company tomorrow, coming off her first All Star game appearance. Then you got the Liberty coming to town Friday evening, and they're kind of, you guys see where they are in the standings in the East. You just look at that graphic right there. They're at the top. Then they got the Mercury, which again, Ray, you're talking about the what they're missing on the front line. It's a whole Brittany Griner deal with, who's been fine. Kudos to her. Her return has been almost seamless for her personally back to the game. Then you go on the road, you got the Lynx, the Wings, who we've seen what their front line has done to Washington right before the break. with Washington missing some players. And then the dream again. Dude, that's a tough stretch the next 2 weeks. It's a really tough stretch. Like, this can go so many different, well, it's going one or two ways. You either hold on to where you're at or you tumble just a little bit. Ray, quick question. Even with the hardships, contracts and signings that might be issued, who you expect to kind of step up?
Um, well, I mean, Tiana Hawkins, man, she's been putting in work, since she's had to take on an expanded role. So, and Maisha Hines Allen, she's kind of rounding herself back into shape after missing some time. But I think Queen Egbo, I think that trade is really going to show its value during this stretch. I think it was a good move. I mean, we love Amanda, but they needed some youth and athleticism. With Shakira going down because she brings so much to them, just from a versatility standpoint. And yeah, I think Queen Negro she'll be able to provide some of that. So yeah, I expect to see her just kind of get an opportunity to really show what she's capable of.
Yeah, I as well. I'm interested to see as you have the depth stepping up a little bit. They're gonna need Shatori to continue her solid play. Like need before it's not a luxury, but it was something you could count on. It was great to see her consistently putting those performances together. It has literally become a necessity at this point. You are you are down. You're starting two. You're four. You're five. Lot going on. So that outside shooting, you're gonna need it. Her and Lee Mung are gonna be huge for them during the stretch if they're able to navigate it. All right, we're gonna switch gears just a little bit and move on to NBA Summer League. The Cleveland Cavaliers, how about that? They won something. Beat the Rockets Monday night in the Summer League championship game, 99-78. Isaiah Mobley led the way with 28 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Yeah, Sam Merrill finished the game with 27 points, 4 rebounds, while hitting 6 threes. And Amani Bates chipped in with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts on the Cavaliers winning Summer League. And by the way, they went undefeated.
I guess I'll start. Yeah, like you said, I was surprised the Cavs won something, and it was funny because I guess a lot of people still don't realize that they actually get rings. So it's nice to see them get their summer league ring. But yeah, I mean, there's many storylines within within this little summer league situation. Of course, we know the Amani Bates situation before everything that happened to him and him bouncing around in college. He was projected to be, a top lottery pick. So to see him kind of be able to like get in his groove and be able to contribute, even though yes, it's summer league, this is the time they're supposed to start learning the NBA and learning how to play at a higher level. You could see why he did have the hoopla around him before he had some things happen off the court. And then I always love family stories. That's just me. Just to see Isaiah Mobley go out there and play, um, knowing that his younger brother Evan has had a decent past couple of years playing for the Cavs. And I think he was signed. I think Isaiah was signed as a two-way player. And who knows? After the the showing that he's had in summer league, I would expect maybe they're looking to maybe sign him to something a little bit more permanent. Granted, again, I try not to put too much stock in summer league because these are all pretty much rookies coming in, sophomores that are still trying to get their foot, and it's going to be a completely different beast when they actually start the regular season. But it's nice to see them, play well. And going undefeated is not a small thing to do. Playing against high level basketball players, regardless of it being a summer league, that's not an easy thing to do. And especially, the championship game against the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets have been playing very well throughout the summer league as well. Cam Whitmore being the MVP of this tournament. And we know, granted, he didn't play after a couple of games with Jamar Smith, what he was doing. And I'm very interested to see what Houston does with new head coach Ime Udoka. I think he's a great coach, so I'm interested to see how they kind of get some things turned around, especially knowing that that team has been recently very, very youthful. And they got some core vets coming in this year, so I'm very excited to see what happens out there. But all in all, it was a great showing for the Cavs. And yeah, like you got to get your championships when you can, and I'm sure they're looking to translate this into a better season this season coming up, better than what they just had, which was also pretty good season. But yeah, it was a great run for them.
Right.
Yeah, man, Cavs had a great summer league. Yeah, they some guys had a chance to kind of put themselves in good standing. I was glad to see Imani Bates come out and play well. You know, like given like I'd say we pointed out what he'd been through in the past year or so, and people just kind of writing him off. Fell deep in the second round. I can imagine the type of mental headspace he was in. And still be able to come out and perform. That's huge for him and his confidence. Heading into the season. And on the other side, I was glad to see Cam Whitmore come out and play well, given with his draft situation. Which was unfortunate, but I think 19 teams are going to regret that. But it was a good game. Yeah, that youth movement in Houston is going to be interesting. They got Ime down there. I think he's going to be able to do some good things with them. They're loaded with talent. That's not the question. But just to get them some structure and get them situated, you know, I I think they're going to be good this season. You know, relative to what they have been, so to speak. And on the Cavs, and yeah, they're continuously in the playoff mix, and they have an opportunity to add a couple good pieces. So things can get interesting there. So yeah, man, it was good summer league overall. Just one thing that's been irritating me the past few years is having these guys on pitch counts, man. Get out there and let them play. Like I don't understand. But I ain't gonna go old man yelling the clouds too much. But yeah, that's what summer league is for. Like, why are we shutting these guys down? The injury related ones, I completely understand because you don't want to shut get a guy sit him down before he even has the opportunity to get started. But if they're healthy, they need to be out there playing.
All right, since you don't want to go, oh man, yell at cloud. Let me. Nah, I'm just playing. Yeah, I don't understand what's wrong with people. You remember the rumors about the rumors, erroneous reports about Ken Whitmore slid because of injuries, yada yada yada. To your point, right? Somebody just won Summer League MVP and played the entire Summer League. Looked perfectly fine, impactful on both ends at that. So if you're the Rockets, like Ray said, I think we were discussing this in group chat, like on draft night. Those other 19 teams, a discussion has to be had. I'm interested in what happens in training camp because I know there's only 5 spots. I know they brought on Fred, but Cam doesn't impact Fred, so Fred's cool. But that group of wings, I wish you the best. I don't know who's going to keep that kid out of a spot. If we think about where Ime's been and what Ime requires out of his players, looking on that roster, just taking a cursory glance, who's knocking Cam? Who's knocking Cam smooth out of a spot? Like, and again, I'm not knocking anybody. I know they got some players, some guards, talented guards have already been here, but a couple of them are smaller. Like he's isn't he about Dylan Brooks size or bigger? Like Cam's a big kid. Like, and then we're about to approach. We're seeing teams swap all these picks and everything this year. Talking about Imani Bates, how important second round picks are. Well, some people think it doesn't matter. Other people are making trades to get second round picks back, and some folks are like, well, they're not first round picks. We're gonna check on the Cavs in a little bit. I feel like the Cavs. I'm not saying Imani's about to win an award this year, but if you can get a player that might be able to help you out of the second round in any capacity, isn't that a positive? Most would say. I'd venture that's a positive. Now you throw in whatever the ceiling might be. Again, Octavia, love that you brought up. Isaiah Mobley, because he's kept at it, and no disrespect to the Cavs, but they need somebody inside that wants to hit people. So maybe Isaiah doesn't mind. Maybe there's a pathway to playing there. I don't know. And Ray, like you said, with the it's weird seeing kids that they haven't hooped since college ended. You had a break, you're working out or whatever. Then you get to summer league and play 2 games. Weird, super weird. Like we trusted you to make it through a whole what was a 30-game college season, including practices or whatnot. Summer league's a couple weeks. I don't know what's up with that. But we're gonna take. Oh, before we take our first break, did y'all have any final thoughts from summer league? Just leaving this year's summer league, if any, at all.
I mean, if I have anything, it's just that I think like we talked about last week, is that you can see a lot of these players just really, really want it. And it's going to be sad to see some of them not make it because I think I heard somebody say like 85% of these kids not even going to make the team. It's going to be tough when it comes down to who actually is going to, make an NBA roster. It's easier said than done. Even though a lot of these kids had a lot of good showings, especially, I really enjoy watching Noel, the small guard. I can't even the team that he played for last year. I can't think of it right now. Where he played well in the NCAA tournament, but his size is always something that's probably, they're going to bring up. But to see him kind of go out there and, give it his best, that was good to see. But I think that's my biggest thing. It's just that a lot of them play really, really hard. And it just sucks that, some of them, it's just not going to be their year. But on the other side of it, I'm really excited to see the ones who do break through. The ones that were able to put it together and the ones that unfortunately sometimes it does come down to luck and just figuring out where you fall and what organization you fall to that's going to be the one that's going to, you know, um, kind of be a good fit for you. And then I am very excited to see the sophomores, I guess if you would say, the Jabari Smiths. I'm excited to see Chet Holmgren Green. I can never say his last name right. Knowing that he didn't play all last year, so he'll technically be a rookie this year. Should make it very interesting to see who will be rookie of the year. So stuff like that, I'm very excited for. Summer League was very interesting. I think it gives a lot of those players a lot to go back to the drawing board with as well in between this time of Summer League and whenever training camp starts. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Right.
Um, One thing I will say, man, a lot of the games looked a lot cleaner than I've seen, in the past. Like last year's summer league it was awful. It just looked like pickup, and that's not what it's for, man. Like this year, I saw a lot more guys kind of getting into stuff and going through progressions and actually running offense and playing defense. So that was welcome to see. Like because we're at a time where the guard's about to change in the league. Like guys are aging out. LeBron, he's going to year 21. KD's up there. I think this is year 16 or 17 or something crazy like that. Steph, he's thinking year 14. So these guys aren't going to be here for much longer. Yeah, man, it's just good to see a young crop kind of coming in, and playing well. So yeah, that was refreshing to see, man. And so that means that people are actually getting coached. Hopefully that translates over into the season.
For sure. Not only getting coached, but accepting the coaching. It's totally opposite. Like you said, a totally different product than last year's Summer League for sure. As you guys see on the screen, just running through who made 2023 All Summer League first team. Keontae George, who he looked comfortable in Summer League to say the very least. Sam Merrill, Orlando Robinson. Miami keeps doing this. Don't know how, but they're very, very good at it. Like he got minutes in the playoffs here and there, and he acted a fool in summer league. Hunter Tyson, and we've all talked about Cam Whitmore at length to this point. The second team, we got Amani Bates, Max Christie from the Lakers, Jayon Freeman Liberty from the Bulls. We got Xavier Moon from the Clippers, Jabari Smith, as Octavius mentioned several times, and Jalen Wilson of the Brooklyn Nets. All right, folks, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, I'll update you guys on DC United. Then, rapid fire is on the way. I'm looking forward to see what these two have to say about there's a specific question I want to make sure we get to because it's hilarious. But actually, there's like two of them. This is really bad, and I apologize to the team that this question is about, but I didn't do it. You guys did it, so we'll talk about it. You're watching Focus TV. We will return right after this break. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, get to talking about some DC United at the moment. Look, sometimes highlights aren't always necessary. This is one of those times. It's one of those games you throw away, you burn the tape before you get home. Like get on the bus and make sure you left the tape at the stadium. They traveled up to New England on Saturday, and the hosts were not very pleasant. Carlos Hill found Gustavo Bo in the 44th minute. Bo had a very well-timed run that left them unmarked. He gets paid for a reason. Headed the ball past Tyler Miller. And then it was a 7-minute stoppage time to end the first half. Disaster struck. All right, so Tyler Miller, who's typically this year, I've mentioned a couple times, he likes to come out his box, come off his line, kind of be an extra defender. He came outside the box, past Russell Canals, who he was marked very well. So Russ couldn't bring the ball in. He was dispossessed. And New England wasted no time capitalizing. This time was Ian Harks, a very familiar face, who would chip Tyler Miller to put his team up 2-0. Harks was drafted to DC United, and his dad played here as well. Then his dad went to go and play for New England. Like Ian, this was Ian's third game for the Revolution, his second start. And obviously it started well as he scored to put New England up 2-0. On to the second half, we had Carlos Hill once again providing a key pass in a goal-scoring situation. This time it was a nice little 1-2 with Harks, would lead to Ian's second goal of the match. The final goal of the match was an own goal. Yeah, Gustavo Bo running down a great pass down the flank. He tried to slide the ball across the box. It was broken up by Brendan Hines-Ike, but unfortunately, while he hustled to get back and try to intercept that pass to break it up, things aren't going your way. When you go to break up a pass and it rolls into your goal. It just rolled calmly into the near post. That's the type of night it was for DC United. So similar to what Ray mentioned with the Mystics in terms of limping into the All-Star break, it was a theme in this area. So for DC United, they fell to 9th in the Eastern Conference. That is literally right above that magic line that determines if you're going to be a part of the postseason or not. As far as the All-Star break goes, literally right now it's happening. As we're recording this, they're doing the skills challenge tonight. Like it probably started a couple minutes ago. It's at Audi Field. So tomorrow night, if you're able to get tickets, you're fortunate enough to do so. Why not get out there for MLS All-Star Game? Again, for DC United, a little bit of news. Lewis O'Brien returns to Nottingham Forest as his loan with DC United has come to an end. He's been a good piece for DC United, especially in the midfield. Unfortunately for him, sorry, I got a little too ahead of myself. Fortunately for him, the loan came to an end. DC United was not able to secure his services for the rest of the season, so he will be leaving. And there's going to be a little bit of a hole in midfield. He's been very productive since he's gotten here. It's a veteran presence that they have now lost. Again, All-Star game, as we mentioned. You guys can see in the little tweet above. You got Wayne Rooney's the manager for the MLS All-Stars, Christian Benteke and Tyler Miller representing DC United. And then in some other MLS news, don't know if you guys heard. This guy named Leo Messi is officially joined Inter Miami. Somehow Inter Miami, just by that one signing. Also, they're working on several others. at the moment. I guess that, we talk about sometimes, NBA players move around the league and the league moves or whatnot. So Leo Messi gets here, has not played a game. Guess what is being talked about? Several reports have come out that all of a sudden MLS is considering trying to make sure that there's natural grass in every stadium. So they've been letting players play on turf for a little bit here, for a little while now. Leo Messi gets here, and it's he shan't be doing that for very long. I wish all sports would do this. We know the NFL players are, they've been trying to fight with, the powers that be on their side for natural grass. But I'm hoping that this is something that can happen. And then for Inter Miami, right now, they are literally at the bottom of the tables. But, you get arguably the best player in the world. You're probably expected to come up the standings just a little bit. And it looks like they're getting some friends for him. He's bringing some folks with him. So the other thing to keep an eye on, like big picture wise, is Inter Miami is being able to do this because of the resources that they have. All MLS teams do not have the type of resources that they have. I wonder if this opens things all the way up now, where all teams kind of on an even scale. And some fans have been wanting this for a while, but again, Leo's here. Can't wait. I told you guys about the tickets a little while ago. Yeah, reselling for 110 grand for home games, for MLS home games, just like that. Again, shout out to everybody that gets to see him. I can't get mad at you at all, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. We're gonna take our second break. When we get back, we're gonna jump in a rapid fire, and I think we're gonna kick things off with everyone's favorite former Denver Nugget, Bruce Brown. So you're watching the Focus TV. We will return. Welcome back. It is time for rapid fire, as promised. All right, let's go ahead and get this up here for you guys. A lot of NBA players have podcasts, which means we get a lot of extra content about players talking about all types of different things. And then it just determines who the player is, what they're saying, and if anybody wants to hear about it. That said, we'll start with Mr. Bruce Brown. Talking to Theo Pinson on the Run Your Race podcast, I would say our toughest series was Minnesota. Phoenix was just blowouts each game. The Lakers never felt like we were going to lose any game. Even when they went on a little run, all series hitting threes, it never felt like we were going to lose. Octavia, your thoughts on Mr. Brown's comments and how Laker Nation might be taking it?
Yeah, he must still be in Colorado because they get high up there. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, it just seems like Denver, like it's just a whole thing now. Like they just don't like the Lakers, Malone is their daddy, all of this craziness. Like, okay. But we're not gonna say that the Minnesota Timberwolves were the hottest. We're just not. They didn't even have half of their team. Like, we're not gonna say that. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't believe it. I mean, I feel like it's a dig, of course, and it's cool. He can have his opinion. If that's what he feels, he was there. I wasn't. It's me on the outside looking in. I'm sorry. It couldn't have been Minnesota. Like, I mean, you have been better off saying it was granted, they beat them 4-1 too, but I mean, you've been better off saying it was the Heat in the finals. Like, give me something, because at least those, even the Lakers games were close. So yeah, you could say that y'all never felt like you were gonna lose. That's cool. But you can't tell me that wasn't the most difficult one when those were the ones where you had the most opportunities to lose. So, but it's cool. Like you said, everybody has podcasts now. I really need them to stop having these podcasts because these crazy things come out. But at the same time, what would we talk about if they didn't have podcasts?
They shall continue to pod. Ray, your thoughts on Bruce Brown's comments?
I don't mind it. It's funny. They swept them, So I mean, you can't. I don't think you can say that's the hardest series because they didn't even win a game. But my enjoyment of this is purely selfish, just because of the discourse before and after the series. you know, before the series, it was, oh, we playing Denver in the conference finals. Oh, yeah, Jokic not going to do to AD what he did to Aiton, blah blah blah. Then after the series, it's all, why are they so happy they beat us? Like, take the L, man. And they won, so they get to say whatever they want.
Exactly.
You know, so I I just found it funny, you know. And he doesn't even play for them anymore. That makes it even funny. So yeah, man, I'm happy. I'm happy he took the dig, and I'm happy that they continue to be on their necks, because that fan base just, it'll never not please me to watch them get riled up and humiliated. It's just funny. Like, I'm old now. I just want to be entertained, and this is entertaining. The way people have reacted to it on Twitter, like, oh yeah, y'all didn't hear yourselves last year before the series, like, year 20, he's going back to the finals. Yeah, he's not. Like, just come on, man, cut it out. This could have went a whole different way if they just didn't think that the team that was the best in the league the entire year would have just been a pushover. All you gotta do is be reasonable. We wouldn't be here right now. But
Look,
you
that's the best part about it. There were two different approaches taken by two different teams. KD, when asked, was like, bro, they're the best team in the West. This was mid series. They're the best team in the West. Someone was like, are you shocked by what Joker is doing? No. They're the best team in the West. They're the number one seed for a reason. Fast forward a few weeks. It's just Denver. As you said, the discourse was nasty. Nasty. I've never seen a number one seed just calmly denounced, like just pushed to the side. Oh yeah, I know you had the best record all season. It doesn't matter though. These trades at the end of the year, forget what you did consistently all year long. Forget you should have been 3-time MVP, because we're gonna be fine. I know the last time we played you, things were different, and our front line was different. We had a couple aliens and mutants to help up front, but it doesn't matter that they're gone. Everything's gonna be fine. Like you said, right? It was the discourse surrounding it. If it was just, hey, when the Western Conference Finals, trying to take down the number one seed, cool. However, when we look back, we're gonna see their journey to the finals. Look at their playoff journey. There's only one team that has a 0. There's only one team that went goose egg. Only one. A lot of teams were missing people. You arguably the most healthy and won the least amount of games. This is why, as Ray said, it is hilarious. We don't know what Ant was. Ant had like an all-time bad series. They still won a game. You had whatever that combination of Rudy Gobert and Karl Towns was. They still won a game. They were missing the McDaniels kid, which was a huge part of what they did that year, especially on the perimeter. They still won a game. It was Kevin, Book, Jock Landale, and campaign. Games were won. Not trying to be funny. Again, I'm not trying to be petty here. It's just facts at the moment. Games were won. That's crazy. That's just, hey, but again, he gets to say what he wants. But again, like, if we go back, just 4-1, 4-2, 4-0, 4-1, that always, it's crazy. All right, on to the second one. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be petty, but it's been reported that ABC scores most watched WNBA All-Star game in 16 years, peaking at 955,000 viewers, up 16% from the 2022 contest. Again, the age-old, you put it on TV, maybe people will watch a thing. But Ray, your thoughts on the WNBA, making noise for ABC this weekend?
I mean, it's been proven, man. Whenever they're putting the prime time slot, or whenever they're given the platform they deserve, the results speak for themselves. I'm always glad to see the progression of the coverage for the WNBA. Yeah, so I mean, this isn't surprising. We're starting to see a little more of them being pushed to the forefront. Which is a great thing. Um, there's still some low hanging fruit there that that can be that can be attained. But yeah, man, it's always good to see the W get some shine. Man, that 3-point contest should have been prime time because what Sabrina did, man, that was nuts. But yeah, man, it's just good to see things like that. And people actually coming to the realization that these are top 1% athletes in the world. They're going to do some amazing shit from time to time. But but no, it's cool, man. It was good to see the reception that it got, and people just being excited about the WNBA in general.
I tell you,
Yeah, I agree. That was the first thing I was going to say is that it was criminal that the 3-point contest and the skills challenge was at 4 p.m. on a Friday. Um, Especially with Sabrina going nuts. Like I think I was still working and I was like, what is happening in a 3-point contest? Like number one I think they said she only missed 2 shots the entire rotation of the championship round for the 3-point contest. And she made 23s in a row. Like that was nuts. And I think it's the best shooting in a 3-point contest, they said, in WNBA or NBA history. So I thought that was crazy. That could you imagine had that been on, a prime time slot? But I appreciate the what I call baby steps when it comes to more and more progression and more um, shining the light on these games. I think this year has shown a lot, even with the All-Star weekend. But even seeing more games on networks throughout the season has been to me very, very good. The Ion spots that they play on Friday night. They're on they're on NBA TV tonight. They're on CBS Sportsnet at 10. So I like you say, like if you put it on TV, people will watch. And honestly, the WNBA has a great timing as well because you're dead smack in the middle of a time where there's not a whole lot of mainstream sports that are going on. And a lot of people are yearning for something like that to watch. So the more that they give them that publicity and the more that they give them that opportunity to be on a national stage, it's only going to increase it. So I think it was great. The numbers speak for themselves. We talk about the women's NCAA tournament last year, how the viewership went up on that. Now you're seeing it trickle over to the WNBA. I mean, goodness gracious, I couldn't even say it. Angel Reese won an ESPY for breakthrough athlete. Like I don't know the last time a WNBA player won an ESPY. Well, not WNBA player, but a women's basketball player won an ESPY for best breakthrough athlete against the players that she was up against. So it's obviously on the rise. The league, the NCAA college, the league, WNBA, they're on a great trajectory. So I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, and I only expect it to get better and better. Um, now maybe they need to add, a rookie sophomore game. That would have been crazy too, just to see who would have played. So I think it's great, and I'm hoping that they keep it up and they give them more opportunities.
look, man, if they can sit there and shout out that dunk contest year after year, sometimes it is horrible to watch. You can put these ladies skill position stuff, the 3-point contest, what have you, or at a prime time spot as well. There's literally, it's almost like a fact, part of just a tradition now of NBA All Star Weekend is, Friday. That's cool. We tune in for the 3-point contest. We look at the people that are dunking and go, oh, I wish these 3 people were actually part of it. And then the game, and then we hope that it gets crazy competitive late in the game. But again, it's a good step in the right direction, as you both said. Here we go. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. It's kind of tough out here if you're running back in the NFL. Both of them were not able to reach long-term deals with their respective teams before the deadline to do so. There's been multiple reports about both backs possibly committing to hold out long-term. Just want to know your thoughts on this situation as a whole. But here's Christian McCaffrey, who tweeted this out. Him and Derrick Henry have been tweeting recently, just trying to look out for their peers, because both of those guys got paid already. And Saquon and Josh, like, I can't believe this, but McCaffrey tweeted criminal, 3 of the best players in the entire league, regardless of position. In McCaffrey's tweet, he had Tony Pollard in that group, but Pollard has signed his franchise tender. While these two are like, nah, we're not going at this point. Octavia, we'll start with you and then Ray. Your thoughts on these two young men saying, I want what I'm worth?
I mean, it's crazy, but we've seen it kind of evolve to this a little year after year. The running back position is just not valued. I don't know what it is, and to me, it's crazy, especially with these two. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, Saquon's had a little bit of injuries, but last year he didn't have any serious injuries. And what's so bad about the Saquon situation is that you paid Daniel Jones $40 million. $40 million to Daniel Jones, knowing number one that Daniel Jones only goes as Saquon goes, because who else is he giving the ball to? So now you pay Daniel $40 million and you don't have Saquon. So it's kind of like, even what was the point of paying Daniel the $40 million if you don't have Saquon to go with them? It makes zero sense. Who's behind Saquon? Gary Brightwell. Now, I'm okay with Matt Breida if he can stay healthy, but he's not Saquon, obviously. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I have no idea what they're doing. And then on the flip side with Josh Jacobs, I mean, how much more can you be slapped in the face by an organization if you're Josh Jacobs as well? They didn't pick up his 5th-year option last year, so he went out and said, okay, I'll prove to y'all that I was worth my 5th-year option last year, and goes out and annihilates pretty much almost every running back statistic that you can look at. And now you're like, oh yeah, well, franchise tag you. I don't know what they're supposed to do. And take both of them off of these teams, I don't know where they're going. I sat here and told you 2 people that's behind Saquon. I can't tell you who's behind Josh. I have no idea right now. Like, my brain is just, I think it's Abdullah. I don't know who it is. It's somebody, but it ain't Josh Jacobs. So I don't understand. Tony Pollard, on the other hand, I understand, because he's coming off of an injury. It would be hard for him to go anywhere coming. Granted, he had a great year last year. Great. But they're going to want to see how he comes back off of a serious lower leg injury. I can see that. But these two, it don't make any sense to me. And honestly, it's crazy to me. Dalvin Cook still doesn't have anywhere to go. Zeke, I'm okay with it, but we're still talking about top tier-ish running back. Zeke's nowhere. Like, Miles Sanders took a pay cut, or took less than what most of them would take to go to Carolina, because Philadelphia wasn't paying him. It just seems like all of these teams are really going towards running back by committee, and they're like, yeah, I mean, we use you for a couple of years and then you're gone, which is terrible. I'm nervous that it's going to cause a lot of players that are growing up to be like, yeah, I don't want to be a running back. It's like, about to find any other position to play but the running back position. I am very interested to see what happens as far as holdouts. We know Le'Veon Bell has popped back up ever since this situation has happened, and now he says he regrets, sitting out that whole season. But I don't know. It to me, it's always gonna take somebody to do something drastic for them to change. We talk about the greats of the NBA who, said like, yeah, we're not going out for the All-Star game until y'all do XYZ. Like, it's sometimes I feel like it's going to have to take somebody to kind of put themselves out there. but I feel like the NFL is really tough to do that with. So that's the caveat. Like you said, a lot of they've said that they don't have to report to camp because neither one of them have signed the franchise tag, so neither one of them can be fined for not attending camp. But it'll come down to if they really want to lose game checks that are about $600,000 a game, which I will come and sign up and play for them for that one game check. Trust, I'll take the 600 G's. Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm this has my attention very, very much because I really want to see how both of them play it. I mean, they said Josh Jacobs was sitting in the parking lot like an hour or two before the deadline, just hoping they would be able to come to some type of agreement so he could walk in there and sign the extension. And it never happened. I think they said him and Max Crosby was sitting in the parking lot. And it's just wild to me. This is the story that's really got me in a chokehold to see what happens. The closer and closer we get to training camp, which we know for a lot of teams next week, I think the Jets even report tomorrow because, like I said, they canceled their mini camp early this summer, and they play in the Hall of Fame game, so they're looking to get started, and of course they're going to be on Hard Knocks, so we'll see how that goes.
Just what everybody wants. More Aaron Rodgers with the mic.
I really don't. They
Right
don't
here.
want it either. I don't want it either. Apparently the Jets don't want to be on Hard Knocks. I don't want to see it either. Somebody else. Like, I would even take like Atlanta. I think theirs is a little interesting with the Bijan Robinson situation. Like, I feel like I would have taken Green Bay, after Aaron's gone. Like, to me, there were so many better storylines. Like, I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers.
Right, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, it just sucks because like the NFL is such a team empowered league. Like, so the players they're at a disadvantage in situations like this. And you got two guys here who are clearly deserving, but the teams can railroad them. It just is what it is, and it sucks for them, man, because they got a choice to make, you know. But unfortunately, like the team has all the advantage, so they either they got to suck it up and take a deal where they know is less than what they should be getting, or they sit out. Like I'd say we point out with Josh Jacobs, man, he came out last year without them picking up the option, had a hell of a year, and they still didn't reward him. So like that's crazy, man. Like, yeah, man. Like I'd be in there flipping everything over. Like that's just disrespectful, man. Like, but so yeah, but unfortunately, it's not much they can do outside of holding out. And then ultimately that'll hurt them more than the team. Because you hold out for a long time, you've lost weeks or possibly an entire season, and then when you try to come back, there's going to be question marks about, will you still be able to be as productive as you were? So, I mean, yeah, it's just a terrible situation to be in, man. For what they put their bodies through to not even, not even get what they deserve and have earned. Like it's just super crazy. And for Saquon, he's been battling injuries the last couple of years. Finally get healthy, and now they spit in his face. Like, yeah, the life of an NFL running back is extremely hard right now. Like, and like these are people at the top of the position. Like, it's not even like they.
It's a crazy thing. Like, that is, to me, is crazy. It's not like we talking about, like, I'll even say DeAndre Swift, because he's a good player, but he's been hurt a lot and he hasn't been able to produce her. So it's not even like somebody like that. Like, I'm talking about, like, Dalvin Cook had a pretty decent season last year. You talk about Austin Eckler was also one of the running backs that was tweeting and stuff, and I think he almost requested a trade this offseason because he didn't feel like he was getting paid what he should. And I mean, I think they said Bijan Robinson is coming in as a rookie and making more than Saquon this year. Like, it's crazy. It's like, to me, it makes zero sense. Like, what? The guy that's never played in the NFL at all makes more guaranteed money than me. I would be livid. It makes zero sense. Like, I don't know. I literally have no clue. And I think they literally like rattled off a list of like all these running backs that will either be free agents this upcoming season. Afterwards, like I know DeAndre Swift will be one. Austin Eckler. I even think they said Derrick Henry, his deal is almost up this year, so he should be looking to renegotiate too. So it's like, it's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, man. Look, the words of the great Owen Reese: "Bad things do bad teams do bad things." This is incredibly stupid. The guy on the left of your screen is 26 years old. The one on the right is 25 years old. You guys are special. We just watched a horrible organization. I'm sorry. We just watched the Panthers. Be kind, because they're trying to get right and got rebooted. Give away arguably the best running back in football for no good reason last year. San Francisco was just like, oh, just give us some picks. Take Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't matter. Seriously?
Definitely.
Seriously? Like, these are things that are happening back to back to back, right? You got Derrick Henry, who's been running through, he's literally been their offense. These are all guys that were listening. No disrespect to their quarterbacks. These guys, like Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has got Saquon's money. Like 75% of that is Saquon's money. Like, what are we talking about? Josh Jacobs, bless his soul. I don't know who was playing quarterback for him last year. Now he gets Jimmy G if he comes back to work. You still have to be the engine of this offense. It sucks. And both of these guys can play. They're three down backs. It's horrible for them, right? You mentioned Austin Eckler. We see all the pretty stuff. We know Herbert throwing the ball around in LA and all that crazy stuff. Eckler's just the guy that keeps the offense on schedule. No big deal. Who cares? It's whatever. Just the guy who consistently, when the throwing gets bad, here, Austin, take 5-6 carries, get us right. It's okay. But yeah, like you guys said, it was just disrespectful. But again, you got part of it with the NFL players. Like, it's so hard for me sometimes to find like a way to feel bad for them, because it's like every time y'all go to the table, how do you make it worse? Every single time. I don't understand this. The only saving grace here is you brought up Bijan Robinson. I'm gonna bring up Jamar Gibbs from this draft as well. Mm-hmm. Those guys right now, and I know Saquon and Josh probably don't want to hear this. You two are about to take an L, so those two are gonna. By the time those two come up, depending on if they're used how both teams say they're gonna use them, they're gonna be like, "Pay me, y'all want to pay me wide receiver money, or all of a sudden do you want to pay running backs?" And what's gonna happen with those two is those two, if they stay healthy, both of their teams will be like, no, we'll up the floor running backs just a little bit, because we don't want to pay y'all wide receiver money, because wide receiver money is crazy right now. And Bijan and Jamar Gibbs, those are those all-around backs that, even in college, they were in a slot. You can move them up. They're chess pieces. And that's where it gets kind of interesting. For those guys, should be fine. But these two, horrible L that they're probably going to take, if they're able to get out of it, I'm interested to see what smart team comes along and goes, cool, you don't want to pay him. Here's something, send him, and I'll pay him. Like, these are two good backs. You look around the teams in the league, like, this is the type of stuff where one of these dudes ends up in Kansas City for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the type. I'm not saying Kansas City because Pacheco's been good for them. I'm just saying this is how these things happen. Like, the Rams are going through what they're going. You remember how they had Todd Gurley? Everything was cool. Todd Gurley got hurt, and they've never replaced him. One of these two dummies going to help him. One of these two teams going to do it. They be like, here's Sean McVay. Here's a running back you've never replaced. They're going to do it. Someone's going to do it just because they're foolish, because this shouldn't be a thing. And again, going back to the McCaffrey thing last year, we really had people coming out their mouths last year like, five picks, second and thirds for a running back? Dude was so nice, he had people think Jimmy got better. He was so nice, he had people think Brock was ahead of his time. You know what the constant was? The engine. The engine. He quarterback proofed the team because of what he brought to the table. So did Saquon. Did we see Daniel Jones throwing the ball 30, 40 times last year? We did not. He just gave it to Saquon. Or throw it to Saquon. Kick it to Saquon. Who cares how it gets to him? Just give it to him. But like you guys said, it's super disrespectful. But it's the way the NFL goes. I don't think anybody's too shocked by this. All right, before we get out of here, I just got to mention this. All right, like this, you guys don't have to answer anything, but I got to find this because it hurt my eyes when I read it. Bundesliga powerhouse FC Bayern Munich in their preseason match. They played 9th tier German side FC Rotak Eggern. I'm sure I pronounced it wrong. I'm so sorry. They won 27-0 in a soccer game.
What?
I'll let that sink in. All right. Not one. No, hold on. Not one, but 4 players had hat tricks. And then the next 3 I'm about to Jamal Musiala, Marcel Sabitzer, and Mathis Tell all scored 5 goals apiece. This performance beat their former record of beating this team in 2019, 23-0.
So now, how many goalies do they have? Because there's no way that one goalie stood in there and took 27 L's. They have absolutely not. Because I'd have been like, I quit. There's no way I'm staying here. Y'all scored over 27.
I mean, rotating it makes it sound worse. So all y'all took a couple.
Nope. Somebody else got to come get the other half of these. I wouldn't even take half. It got to like 9. I'm like, something out.
Like that's one of those like pay to play type college football beatdowns beginning of the year that just went all the way left. Like someone didn't call off the dogs. 27-0 in the sport that tallies by one. By one.
I'm not the most well versed soccer dude, but like, do people even usually get 27 shots on goal?
You're not supposed to.
I'm like, well, how long was this soccer match? Was it
no regulation? I'm sure they even had to run it. I'm sure in their minds it was a running clock, but yeah.
How much time did they have? Jesus, another 90 minutes?
I'm scared to find out if they had stoppage time because they could have had more. But for the team, since you regularly play these guys in the preseason, stop it. Unless maybe it's just something where like our fans, we show up, we take the L, our fans get to see Bayern Munich, and that's cool. However, to me, that said, that's how we're gonna close tonight's show. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. I want to remind folks, get over to DCTV. Show airs Friday nights at 10 p.m., Saturday at 4:30. Don't forget, you can go to our Roku channel if you got a Roku television device. Just type in the Focus TV, double click OK, and it adds our channel. It is really that simple. We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to get over to thefocustv.com.